from Fort Bragg. And Laurie, would you like to address the board for a moment while we're at this point?
Websites and resources and tools that they can use in the classroom, the ones that we use as school liaison officers. So I will be briefing that as a tomorrow. So it's right around lunch here tomorrow. And I've been traveling all over. Was in Moore today doing their new teacher orientation. Made 250 folders. So I'm ready for tomorrow.
Thanks for being here for our military children. And if you'd now join me in a moment of silence as we reflect on the day's activities. Thank you. And if you'll now stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no public comments this afternoon, and I would like to share a moment with the board on our mission. And Dr. Warren, I continue to read our literacy statement, and I continue to find stuff that I like, and I'm going to share something else with the board. And this paragraph refers to transfer. According to Grant Wiggins, co-founder of Understanding by Design, transfer is the ability to extend what has been learned in one context to new context without guidance. Educators hope that students will transfer learning from one problem to another within a course, from one year in school to another, between school and home, and from school to workplace. Transfer of learning, meaning making, content acquisition is a troika of education. Learning stuff is not the goal, it's the means. The point of school is not to get good at school, but to effectively parlay what we learned in school in other learning and in life. And that's huge. I was not familiar with the word troika, so I looked it up, and the first meeting was a Russian vehicle pulled by a trained team of 3 horses abreast. I figured that probably doesn't apply to this, but the other meaning is a group of 3 people working together, especially in administrative or managerial capacity. And certainly the trilogy is there. I do understand that, and it's well written. I just want to share that. And now I'd like to remind the board of our responsibilities to a code of ethics. We must avoid conflicts of interest and appearance of conflicts of interest as we handle the work of the board. We must avoid the solicitation and/or acceptance of gifts in return for advice or assistance on matters concerning the operation of the business of the board. We must avoid the misuse of public funds. We must avoid misrepresentation or falsification of facts, and avoid making confidential information public. And if there is a motion to approve the agenda that's before you for August the 9th, 2016.
Move to approve the agenda for Board of Education meeting August the 9th, 2016.
And is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The agenda is approved. And if there's a motion to approve the minutes for July the 12th and August the 3rd, is that correct? Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I move that the Lee County Board of Education approve the minutes for July the 12th, 2016 and August the 3rd, 2016.
And is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The minutes are approved. And we can continue with announcements. Under Chairman's report, I would like to remind the board that the school board award nominations that we discussed last week are due on October the 4th. Our next board meeting is September the 13th. So if there are nominations to be made, that we'd need to get them in to staff before our next board meeting so we can take action and present them to the School Board Association, unless there's nominations to be made at this point. And I would also like to commend the superintendent on his summer leadership conference, and I'm sure he's going to mention it shortly. That was held on July the 26th and 27th, at which Dr. Warren and her staff presented the literacy plan to our principals and assistant principals, and it was just impressive to be there and see how well it was received, and the enthusiasm from going forward with that strategic plan. So compliments to Dr. Bryan and staff. And with that, we can continue with the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Because of our summer schedule, we've now pushed our extra effort award winner tonight to next time. So we will have 3 next time for September.
Okay.
So that'll be exciting. And just like to, as with the accountability update, we'll be receiving test scores on September 1st, as will the remainder of the state. And also just want to mention the administrative retreat where we went over the literacy plan. Dr. Warren and her staff did a great job presenting that day. And we've had professional development over the last 3 weeks, going back to content alignment and best practices, and also Innovation Nation. So last 3 weeks have been great with that, and just looking forward to the beginning of the traditional calendar on the 29th. Dr. Smith, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Bryan. Let's now proceed with committee reports. There'll be curriculum and instruction. Mrs. Brogan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a meeting yesterday. It was a special call curriculum instruction meeting, and we had all 3 levels, elementary, middle, and high school there yesterday. And we discussed what's on the consent agenda for this evening, the McGraw-Hill Reading Wonders program and the McGraw-Hill Study Sync. We talked about what that is entailing, and it's a program, a reading program with new textbooks. It's online version and also textbook version that will help our students with reading and language arts. And it's been quite a while since we've had a new program in reading and language arts in the school system. I believe we talked yesterday, it's been about 10-15 years, so it's long overdue. And the consensus of the committee after the discussion was that everyone seems to be excited about bringing these materials in for our students, and everyone there felt that it will help our students to do very well with their reading and language arts. So it was a very positive reception about the textbook. So I'm very excited to be bringing these on to our students for the beginning of the school year, and so that they can start using them and benefit from them. So that's on the consent agenda for tonight, and that was it. That was the end of our meeting.
Facilities and technology, Mr. Cameron, Mr. Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The M&T hasn't met since our last meeting, and our next meeting will be August 23rd, a week from today.
Thank you, Mr. Sharp.
Excuse me, 2 weeks from today.
Finance, Mr. Akinosho.
We had our last meeting last month, and the new one will be on the 25th.
Thank you, Mr. Akinosho. Policy, Mrs. Bowen.
Mr. Chair, the Policy Committee did not meet last month, and I wanted to take just a moment to thank you guys for covering, especially Ms. Davis here in my absence, and for everyone that reached out to me as I was missing in action for the past month or so. Meanwhile, our next policy meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 16th.
Thank you, Mrs. Bowen, and rest assured that the entire board was sharing in your grief
I appreciate
during these
that.
tough times. We were with you there spiritually.
Thank you
And
much.
glad to have you back.
Thank you.
And if there is a motion to approve the consent agenda,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda that you have before you? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The consent agenda is approved. We have no unfinished business. Under new business, we can continue with the sale of the Lee County Schools CTE Carpentry Project House sealed bids. And if there's a motion to approve that sale, please make that motion.
Mr. Chair, I make the motion that we accept the bid for the sale of the Lee County Schools CTE Carpentry Project House.
And is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion, or would staff like to share anything with us?
Mr. Hart is not here tonight, but as we followed the process outlined by the board with the bid, received the bid of $86,500, which is the highest bid in the history of the house sale, and we recommend that tonight for your approval.
Mr. Superintendent, I got a question about that. What did we see, to be the problem, when we originally tried to sell it the first time? Because it was a much lower, do we know any information?
Rain.
Rain?
Yeah,
Rain.
Weather didn't cooperate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was,
That was
yeah.
most of the
So
feedback
that's
we,
a significant increase.
Right.
in the,
right. The weather was, all the feedback we've gotten was most of the issue with that.
And in fact, I don't have it right in front of me, didn't we get the highest price, the
Yeah.
most money we've ever gotten for a carpentry project house?
Yes.
Right. Is there any other discussion on the carpentry project? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The carpentry project house is approved. Is there a motion concerning the Lee County Comprehensive Continuous Improvement Plan?
Is there a motion?
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that Lee County Board of Education approve the 2016-2017 Lee County Comprehensive Continuous Improvement Plan.
And is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Dr. Chappell, would you like to bring us up to speed on exactly what this is? And
Start back in 1965.
is-
That's when it started, actually. In 1965, ESEA was passed by the federal government, and that was a plan to help children of poverty that were struggling in school, basically, and to give federal monies out to the states and out to school districts. And that plan has been reauthorized every few years. Before this year, the most recent reauthorization was in 2001, when No Child Left Behind came into being, and most people have heard of that. And that was the law of the land and the guidelines for that federal money up until this past year. And it was, ESEA was reauthorized again, and it is now ESSA, which is Every Student Succeeds Act. And that took the place of No Child Left Behind. And the federal money comes out in the form of titles. And there's Title I, Title II, and Title III, which you have our plan for in your packet. And then there's also Titles 4 and 5 and 6, and all the way up to Title 9. Some of you seen Title 9 has to do with sports and things with colleges, so you might have seen that. Just all of those titles are under ESSA now. It's all federal funding, and it comes down to the states. The allotments, they decide on how much money to give each state according to your poverty level. That's a little different from free and reduced lunch. Poverty level comes through the census that they do every 10 years. And last time I checked, I think Lee County's was around 18, maybe 19% poverty level. But that's how the federal government decides how much money your state gets. And then that's also used to see how much your county's gonna get from the state level. Then, once it comes to the county, we use free and reduced lunch to decide how much to give each school. And so however many free and reduced lunch students are at the school generates a certain amount of money, which for us is close to, around $475, I think, this year. It's usually between $475 and maybe $495 per student. So there's a tie in there to poverty. But once it's in the school system, and once that money, Title I money is in the schools, then Lynn said, do you know, Lynn said, do you know how to do it? I said, well, now I do, not the first year, so. But anyway, we feel like we've got a good plan, and we're really trying to use the money in a way that, is most effective and efficient, and we change it every year. We look at it, and if something doesn't seem to be working as well, we're not gonna use the money in that way. Principals call all the time and say, well, I'd rather do this year than do that. Say, okay, that's fine. As long as it's all within the guidelines, it has to be supplemental. It cannot supplant. So, for example, we cannot buy the district-wide reading books out of Title I money, because that would be seen as supplanting, because we get state money for textbooks and we're buying them for all the schools, not just Title I schools. So that Title I money could not come from that. The teacher comes to me and says, you know, my children love the story in the book and they want to get some more books like this by the same author. Can you help me buy some of these for my classroom? Yes, that's supplemental. That's something above and beyond and extra. So you do have to be careful when you're planning and careful when you're using money, that it is supplemental, that it is used for extra things and not things that you would normally be doing or that the state provides money for. Any questions?
Any further comments or questions?
If I may, just
Please.
what a great job Dr. Chappell and Dr. Warren do with this for our district, and they're a little humble in their knowledge of all this, but they do a great job, and we thank them. Very appreciative of what they do.
Thank you for coming up and explaining it. You know, I read the material, but thank you for coming up and, you know, sharing all that with us.
Yeah, I pulled up the first page and I decided I'd let you do that. We do appreciate the work that you do to keep us legal and in bounds. Thank you. Any further questions or comments concerning the comprehensive plan? In that case, all in favor of approving the Lee County Comprehensive Continuous Improvement Plan, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The plan has been approved. The last issue or item under our new business is the revised calendar. And is there a motion to approve the new 16-17 revised calendar?
Mr. Chairman, I move Lee County Board of Education approve the revised 2016-2017 traditional calendar.
And is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. And Dr. Bryan, would you like to walk us through this?
I'll ask Mr. Dietrich and Ms. Spence to come forward. They head up our calendar committee for the district, work with our parents and teachers and administrators, and have the change that they're going to recommend.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We had to make a slight change based on a memo that we received talking about testing requirement for graduating seniors. We are moving that last day from 6/9 to 6/8 due to the fact that on a memo from DPI dated July 15th that graduation exercises are to occur after state mandating testing window. And if we would have left it at graduation 6/8 and 6/9, that would have been before the last day of school and before the testing window was over. Due to the fact that 2 years ago they adjusted the testing window to be the last 5 days of the semester, and that's state mandated. We can't go around that even for teacher-made exams. So as a result of moving the date back, we are taking 2 half-days away, one in October and one in February, leaving the half-day in March right after the end of the quarter, so that the teachers have an opportunity to finalize their grades. And that is the rationale and the reasoning for the changes.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, just certainly it's become a tradition, I think, in our community for the graduations to alternate one first and the other on that Thursday and Friday night. And I think that's sort of what supports our community wants, and that's important to us, I believe.
And adding the 2 half days meets our 1,025 hourly requirement,
Yes.
correct?
Replaced out.
Yeah.
Correct.
Plus.
Correct. Yes, sir. And that's the rationale for the change.
Good. Any other comments, questions from the board?
Makes sense.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
The motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor of the 2016-2017 revised traditional calendar, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The new calendar is approved. And Mr. Akanosho, if you would make a motion, we can continue with the closed session portion of our meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to move that the Lee County Board of Education go into closed session for the purpose of discussing information that is privileged, confidential, or not a public record under NCGS Section 143-318.11 bracket A bracket 1.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on continuing with the closed session portion of our meeting? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. We can retire to closed session, please. Are we still working?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
still working.
To conclude our meeting, is there a motion to approve a one-year contract for David Blackman, Assistant Principal at Edwards? And included in that motion would be a 2-year contract for Emily Mize and Jamie Cox, Assistant Principals. Is there a motion to approve those contracts?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on these contracts? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The contracts are approved. And is there a motion to approve the Human Resources Report as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The Human Resources Report is approved. And is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.
We're gonna have some info for y'all. We're doing some, collecting some numbers on it, but it's going well. I think we're pleased.
I mean, the new principals.